Not only do you have this description in the newspaper, which we now see in front of us, find the money pit, understand what's there, and hopefully retrieve it.
The high seas have always been a realm of danger and mystery. For centuries, pirates roamed these waters, leaving behind legends, lost treasures, and unanswered questions. Even today, some of their greatest secrets remain hidden, tantalizing historians and adventure seekers alike. From vanished ships to cryptic codes, these enigmas continue to spark our curiosity and fuel endless speculation. Join us as we dive into the depths of pirate lore to explore the 7 biggest unsolved pirate mysteries. The treasure of Oak Island has fascinated treasure hunters and intrigued the public for centuries. Located off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, Oak Island is a small piece of land shrouded in mystery and legend. The allure of its hidden treasures has led to numerous expeditions and extensive investigations, yet the secrets of the island remain unresolved. The story begins in 1795 when a young boy named Daniel McGinnis discovered a peculiar depression in the ground while exploring the island. This discovery marked the beginning of what would become known as the Oak Island Money Pit. Fascinated by the possibility of hidden treasure, McGinnis returned with 2 friends, and they began to dig. Just a few feet down, they encountered a layer of flagstones, an unusual find that only fueled their curiosity. As they continued to dig, they discovered wooden platforms every 10 feet. These layers were meticulously constructed, suggesting that someone had gone to great lengths to bury something deep within the earth. The deeper they dug, the more complex the pit seemed, with layers of logs, charcoal, putty, and coconut fibers, materials not native to the area, further adding to the mystery. The first significant excavation attempt was made in 1804 by the Onslow Company. They dug down to a depth of 90 feet and found a mysterious stone inscribed with symbols. While the exact translation of these symbols remains debated, it is widely believed to hint at a treasure buried below. However, as they dug further, the pit flooded with water, halting their progress. Despite numerous attempts to pump out the water, the pit seemed to be ingeniously designed to thwart treasure hunters. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Oak Island mystery is the alleged booby traps that flood the pit. It is believed that the original diggers created a series of flood tunnels leading from nearby Smith's Cove, designed to fill the pit with seawater if disturbed. This theory was supported by the discovery of coconut fibers and the remnants of a drainage system in Smith's Cove, suggesting a sophisticated engineering feat aimed at protecting whatever lies below. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, numerous expeditions have attempted to solve the Oak Island mystery. In the 1860s, the Truro Company dug a parallel shaft to bypass the flood tunnels, but their efforts were also thwarted by water. In the 1890s, the Oak Island Treasure Company used drilling rigs to probe the pit, allegedly finding traces of gold, metal, and even what appeared to be a piece of parchment with the letters C written on it. These tantalizing clues only deepened the intrigue. The 20th century saw a renewed interest in the Oak Island mystery, with several high-profile attempts to uncover its secrets. One of the most notable was the exploration by Robert Restall and his family in the 1950s and 60s. Tragically, Restall and several others died in an accident while attempting to dig the pit, adding to the lore that the treasure is cursed. Despite this setback, interest in the island continued to grow. In the 1960s, a syndicate led by Dan Blankenship and David Tobias took over the search, employing modern technology and heavy machinery. They discovered a man-made shaft known as Borehole 10X, which reached depths of over 200 feet. At the bottom of this shaft, they reportedly found evidence of wooden structures, tools, and even a human hand. However, due to the dangerous conditions, they were unable to retrieve definitive proof. The legend of Oak Island has attracted various theories about what might be buried there. Some believe it is pirate treasure, perhaps the hoard of the infamous Captain Kidd, who was known to operate in the area. Others speculate that it could be the lost treasure of the Knights Templar, hidden away to protect it from being seized. There are even theories suggesting that the pit holds important historical documents, such as Shakespearean manuscripts, or the lost works of Francis Bacon. Modern explorations continue, with the History Channel's The Curse of Oak Island bringing renewed attention and resources to the search. Brothers Rick and Marty Lagina have invested heavily in state-of-the-art technology, including sonar scans, seismic surveys, and advanced drilling equipment. They have made several intriguing discoveries, such as ancient coins, human bones, and artifacts that predate the known history of the island. Despite these finds, the ultimate treasure, if it exists, remains elusive. One of the most fascinating discoveries in recent years was the unearthing of the swamp area on Oak Island. The Lagina brothers and their team drained part of the swamp and found a stone roadway and wooden structures, which some believe could be remnants of an ancient wharf or landing area. This discovery suggests that whoever buried the treasure might have used the swamp to transport heavy loads, further complicating the island's geography and adding layers to the mystery. Olivier Levasseur's cryptogram. Olivier Levasseur, known as La Bouse or the Buzzard, was a notorious pirate whose legacy is deeply intertwined with one of the most enduring unsolved mysteries of pirate lore, a cryptogram purportedly leading to his hidden treasure. Levasseur's life was a blend of legitimate privateering and outright piracy, and his name continues to captivate treasure hunters around the world. Levasseur's career began during the War of the Spanish Succession, which lasted from 1701 to 1714. He was granted a letter of marque by King Louis XIV, which allowed him to operate as a privateer, essentially a state-sanctioned pirate. Privateers were licensed to attack enemy ships, and Levasseur quickly made a name for himself due to his audacity and tactical brilliance. However, after the war, like many privateers, he turned to outright piracy. One of Levasseur's most famous exploits was the capture of the Portuguese galleon Nossa Senhora do Cabo, also known as Our Lady of the Cape. This galleon was laden with a staggering amount of treasure, including gold bars, silver, diamonds, pearls, silk, and religious artifacts from the Sé Cathedral in Goa. Among these treasures was the Fiery Cross of Goa, a gold cross inlaid with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds, so heavy it required 3 men to carry it to Levasseur's ship. The loot from this heist was so immense that each pirate received a fortune, with Levasseur taking the lion's share. Despite his wealth, Levasseur's luck ran out. He refused a 1724 amnesty offered by the French government in exchange for a share of his loot and went into hiding in the Seychelles. Eventually, he was captured near Fort Dauphin, Madagascar, and taken to Réunion Island, where he was hanged on July 7, 1730. Legend has it that moments before his execution, Levasseur threw a necklace containing a cryptogram into the crowd, declaring, "Find my treasure, the one who may understand it." This cryptogram, composed of 17 lines of symbols, is said to reveal the location of his hidden treasure. The first recorded mention of the cryptogram appeared in a 1934 book by French historian Charles de la Roncière. The cryptogram, described as a pigpen cipher, is a type of substitution cipher where symbols replace letters based on a grid system. Despite numerous attempts to decode it, including extensive efforts by Englishman Reginald Cruise Wilkins, the exact location of Levasseur's treasure remains a mystery. Cruise Wilkins spent decades analyzing the cryptogram, convinced it was based on Masonic symbols and linked to various mythological and astrological references. He proposed that the treasure was hidden in a manner requiring the solver to complete a series of tasks analogous to the 12 labors of Hercules. His exhaustive efforts led him to explore numerous sites on Mahé, where he uncovered various artifacts, including old rifles and coins, but never the treasure itself. John Cruise Wilkins, Reginald's son, has continued his father's quest. He believes he is on the brink of finding the treasure, having identified a specific cavern as the likely hiding place. However, accessing this cavern is fraught with difficulties, including underwater tunnels and potential booby traps. Despite these challenges, John remains determined, using a combination of modern technology and traditional methods to continue the search. However, the authenticity of the cryptogram and the necklace remains a topic of debate. Some historians argue that the story is too fantastical to be true, pointing out the 200-year gap between Levasseur's death and the cryptogram's first mention in the 1930s. Additionally, there are discrepancies in the cryptogram's translations, with some parts appearing to be scrambled recipes or folk remedies rather than directions to treasure. Adding to the intrigue is the existence of 2 versions of the cryptogram. The first, which surfaced in the 1930s, has been widely studied and debated. The second version, which emerged more recently, contains additional lines and symbols. This second cryptogram has further complicated efforts to solve the puzzle, as it raises questions about the authenticity and accuracy of the original. Some suggest that the second cryptogram might be a modern fabrication. Despite the many theories and attempts to decode it, the cryptogram's true meaning remains elusive. Some treasure hunters believe that Levasseur's treasure is hidden on Réunion Island, while others think it might be in the Seychelles or even further afield in Madagascar. The legend continues to inspire new generations of adventurers, each hoping to be the one to finally unlock the secrets of Lebus's cryptogram. Anne Bonny's disappearance. Born around 1700 near Cork, Ireland, Anne was the daughter of lawyer William Cormac and his maid, Mary Brennan. To escape the scandal of their affair, Cormac moved the family to Charlestown, modern-day Charleston, South Carolina, where he eventually became a successful merchant. Anne's rebellious nature became evident early on. Known for her fiery temper, she reportedly stabbed a servant girl at the age of 13. At 16, she married a small-time pirate named James Bonny against her father's wishes, leading to her disinheritance. Seeking a fresh start, Anne and James moved to Nassau in the Bahamas, a notorious haven for pirates known as the Republic of Pirates. In Nassau, Anne met the pirate John Calico Jack Rackham. Disillusioned with her husband, who had become an informant for the governor, Anne fell in love with Rackham and joined his crew, disguising herself as a man. Together with another female pirate, Mary Red, they became infamous for their daring exploits and fierce combat skills. Anne and Mary often fought alongside the male pirates, dressed in men's clothing, and their courage was well documented during their trials. In October 1720, Rackham's crew was captured by pirate hunter Jonathan Barnett. Most of the crew, including Rackham, were too drunk to fight, but Anne and Mary resisted fiercely until they were overpowered. The pirates were taken to Jamaica, where Rackham and several others were swiftly executed. Anne and Mary, however, managed to delay their executions by pleading their bellies, claiming they were pregnant. Under English law, pregnant women could not be executed, and both were granted stays of execution. Mary Read died in prison, likely from fever, but Anne Bonny's fate remains shrouded in mystery. There are no official records of her release, execution, or death, leading to numerous theories about her ultimate fate. One theory suggests she escaped prison, possibly with the help of her father, and lived out her days in obscurity. Another theory posits that she was released and returned to Charlestown, where she led a quiet life under a new identity. Parish records from 1733 note the death of an Anne Bonny in Jamaica, but whether this was the infamous pirate is unclear. Adding to the intrigue, some legends claim that Anne became the mistress of a former pirate named Robert Fenwick and lived with him near Charleston. Stories suggest that she even ran away with another man but was persuaded to return to Fenwick, who then ensured her lover was hanged. Despite these tales, the truth about Anne Bonny's later life remains elusive, making her disappearance one of the enduring mysteries of pirate history. The accounts of Anne Bonny, largely derived from Captain Charles Johnson's A General History of the Pirates, blend fact and fiction, complicating efforts to discern the true events of her life. Johnson's work, possibly penned by Daniel Defoe, is known for its mix of accurate historical detail and imaginative storytelling. This blend has cemented Anne Bonny's place in pirate lore, but also left many questions unanswered. William Kidd's hidden treasure. William Kidd, better known as Captain Kidd, was a 7th century Scottish sailor who turned to piracy and left behind one of the most enduring mysteries in pirate lore: the location of his hidden treasure. Born around 1654 in Scotland, Kidd started his maritime career as a privateer, a private ship owner authorized by a government to attack enemy ships. However, his transition from a respected privateer to a feared pirate and his eventual execution have fueled centuries of speculation about the whereabouts of his fabled treasure. Kidd's most infamous exploit was the capture of the Quedagh merchant in January 1698. The ship, laden with valuable goods such as gold, silver, silks, and satins, was owned by Armenian merchants and was under French passes, making it a legitimate target in Kidd's eyes. However, this act was deemed piracy by the British authorities, and Kidd was declared an outlaw. He attempted to return to New York to clear his name, but he was arrested and sent to England for trial. During his trial, Kidd claimed to have hidden a treasure worth £40,000, but rumors suggested it could be as much as £400,000. He promised to retrieve this treasure and hand it over if he were spared, but these pleas were ignored. He was found guilty of piracy and the murder of a crew member named William Moore, and was executed in 1701. After his execution, his body was displayed in a gibbet over the River Thames as a warning to other would-be pirates. One of the first significant finds related to Kidd's treasure occurred shortly after his arrest. A stash of gold and other valuables worth about £20,000 was recovered on Gardiner's Island off the coast of Long Island, New York. Kidd had left this treasure with the island's owner, Jonathan Gardner, who cooperated with authorities to retrieve it. This discovery only intensified the legend of hidden treasures left by Kidd in other locations. Numerous locations have been proposed as possible sites of Kidd's remaining treasure. Among these, the New Jersey shore has several strong claims. Cape May, known for its fresh water sources, and the mouth of the Toms River, which offered protection from ocean storms, are frequently cited. One of the most famous sites is Money Island near Sandy Hook, where 17th-century Spanish gold coins have been found. Another notable location is Duck Pond, now known as Treasure Lake, where additional gold coins were discovered. The search for Kidd's treasure is not limited to the United States. In recent years, attention has shifted to the Indian Ocean, particularly around Madagascar. In 2015, marine archaeologist Barry Clifford claimed to have discovered a 50-kilogram silver bar from Kidd's ship, the Adventure Galley, off the coast of St. Marie Island. Clifford's team found the ingot while exploring the wreck of what they believed to be Kidd's ship. This find sparked significant interest and speculation about the potential discovery of more treasure. However, the legitimacy of Clifford's find has been questioned. UNESCO criticized Clifford's methods and suggested that the ingot might be a lead ballast rather than genuine silver treasure. Despite this, Clifford remains confident in his discovery, maintaining that the ingot is indeed part of Kidd's legendary treasure. From the shores of New Jersey to the depths of the Indian Ocean, treasure hunters continue to be drawn to the legend of Captain Kidd. The disappearance of Captain Henry Every. Henry Every, also known as Henry Avery, was one of the most infamous pirates of the late 17th century, and his disappearance remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Born in England around 1659, Every's life took a dramatic turn when he turned to piracy, becoming one of the most successful and elusive pirates of his time. Every's piracy career began after a stint in the Royal Navy and involvement in the Atlantic slave trade. In 1694, he joined a privateering venture aboard the Charles II, a ship funded by investors hoping to capture Spanish treasures. When the voyage faced delays and the crew went unpaid, Every led a mutiny. The mutineers renamed the ship Fancy and set off for the riches of the Indian Ocean. Every's most famous exploit was the capture of the Mughal treasure ship Ganj-e-Sawai in 1695. This vessel, owned by Emperor Aurangzeb, was returning from Mecca and laden with gold, silver, and precious gems. The Fancy, along with a small fleet of pirate ships, ambushed the Ganj-e-Sawai and its escort. The battle was brutal, with Every's men overpowering the ship's defenses. They seized an enormous haul, with estimates of the plunder's value ranging from £325,000 to £600,000, making it one of the richest pirate hauls in history. The raid on the Ganj-e-Sawai triggered an international manhunt. The Mughal emperor demanded retribution, pressuring the British government to take action. The East India Company and the British Crown placed large bounties on Every and his crew. This was one of the first global manhunts, and the pressure was immense to capture the pirates who had caused such an international incident. Despite the massive efforts to capture him, Every managed to evade capture. After the raid, he sailed to the Bahamas, where he and his crew disbanded. Some of his men were eventually caught and executed, but Every's fate is shrouded in mystery. Reports suggest he may have bribed officials to escape or lived under a new identity. His last confirmed sighting was on the island of Ascension in the mid-Atlantic, after which he disappeared from historical records. Several theories exist about what happened to Every after his disappearance. One theory suggests he retired quietly in England, possibly in Devon, living in obscurity. Another theory posits that he continued his piratical activities under a different name or settled in a remote part of the world. Some reports indicate he may have lost his fortune and died in poverty, while others speculate he lived a comfortable life with his plundered wealth. Adding to the intrigue are recent discoveries that provide new clues about Evry's possible fate. In 2014, a metal detectorist in Rhode Island uncovered a 17th-century Arabian coin. Subsequent finds of similar coins in New England suggest that Evry might have fled to the American colonies. These coins, minted in Yemen and dating to the period of Evry's piracy, offer compelling, albeit circumstantial, evidence that he may have lived out his days in America. Henry Evry's story has been immortalized in literature and popular culture. Daniel Defoe's A General History of the Pirates, published under the pseudonym Captain Charles Johnson, includes a chapter on Evry, further cementing his legendary status. The book, a mix of fact and fiction, portrays Evry as a cunning and ruthless pirate. Despite the wealth he amassed and the global manhunt he triggered, Evry's ultimate fate remains unknown. The missing fleet of Sir Francis Drake. Sir Francis Drake's exploits on the high seas earned him a reputation that straddles the line between celebrated privateer and reviled pirate, depending on the perspective. For the English, he was a hero and a key figure in the fight against the Spanish Armada. For the Spanish, however, he was a notorious pirate who wreaked havoc on their fleets and colonies. Drake's most famous voyage, which established his reputation, was his circumnavigation of the globe from 1577 to 1580. During this expedition, he raided numerous Spanish settlements and captured valuable treasure-laden ships. One of his most notable captures was the Spanish galleon Nuestra Señora de la Concepción, also known as the Cacafuego, which yielded a massive haul of gold, silver, and precious stones. This act of piracy significantly boosted Drake's wealth and status, but also enraged the Spanish, who saw him as a relentless pirate. Drake's raids on Spanish ports and ships in the Caribbean and along the Pacific coast of South America caused considerable damage and led the Spanish to dub him El Draque, or the Dragon. The fear and hatred he inspired were so profound that King Philip II of Spain allegedly placed a bounty of 20,000 ducats on his head, a fortune equivalent to millions of dollars today. In 1586, Drake struck a significant blow against the Spanish Empire by attacking the port of Cadiz. This preemptive strike, known as the singeing of the King of Spain's beard, delayed the launch of the Spanish Armada by destroying a large number of ships and supplies. Drake's final expedition in 1595, alongside his cousin Sir John Hawkins, aimed to capture more Spanish treasure in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, the venture was plagued by misfortune from the beginning. They failed to capture San Juan, Puerto Rico, and were repeatedly repelled by well-defended Spanish forces. Disease ravaged the fleet, and both Hawkins and Drake succumbed to illness, with Drake dying of dysentery on January 28, 1596. After Drake's death, the remnants of his fleet faced a perilous journey back to England. Several ships and their potential treasure disappeared, leading to centuries of speculation about their fate. Some theories suggest that these ships were lost in storms, captured by the Spanish, or scuttled to prevent capture. The Caribbean Sea, with its treacherous waters and numerous hiding places, has fueled countless treasure hunts, but definitive evidence of Drake's lost fleet remains elusive. Adding to the mystery are the tales of buried treasure linked to Drake's voyages. It is rumored that before his death, Drake ordered his men to hide large portions of their plunder on remote islands or along the Central American coastlines. These hidden caches have sparked numerous expeditions, with modern technology like sonar and underwater robotics aiding in the search. Despite promising leads, the bulk of Drake's hidden treasure remains undiscovered. Recent discoveries of shipwrecks in the Caribbean have reignited interest in Drake's missing fleet. Underwater explorations off the coast of Panama and other areas have uncovered several 16th-century wrecks, some of which are believed to be part of Drake's expedition. The ghost ship of Topsail Island. Topsail Island, located off the coast of North Carolina, is shrouded in mystery and legend, particularly known for the enigmatic ghost ship that is said to haunt its waters. This story is not just a simple ghost tale. It intertwines with the rich history of piracy that dates back to the early 18th century when pirates like the infamous Blackbeard roamed these seas. Topsail Island was a strategic point for pirates, who would hide behind the island's dunes, waiting to attack merchant ships. The name topsail, according to local lore, originated from this practice as merchant crews would spot the topsails of pirate ships hidden behind the island. The ghost ship that haunts Topsail is believed by some to be one of these pirate ships, still roaming the waters in spectral form. One prominent story involves a radar blip that several locals, including Chris Rackley, a Topsail Island native and local historian, have reported seeing. According to Rackley, this radar blip represents the ghost ship. On a clear day, the radar would suddenly show a ship that wasn't visible to the naked eye, moving mysteriously towards them before vanishing without a trace. Such stories have been passed down through generations, contributing to the island's haunted reputation. The ghost ship is said to appear with a certain eerie regularity near Rich's Inlet, just south of Topsail Island. Sailors and fishermen have reported unusual sightings and malfunctions in their navigation equipment as they pass through this area. Some believe this is due to the spectral activities of the ghost ship, still guarding hidden pirate treasures or lost at sea in an eternal quest for plunder. These tales are bolstered by historical records that suggest Blackbeard and other pirates used the nearby inlets for refuge and as staging points for their plundering raids. Blackbeard, in particular, is a central figure in these legends. After his death, his ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was discovered nearby, but much of his treasure was never accounted for. Local legends suggest that some of this treasure might be hidden on Topsail Island, possibly guarded by the ghost ship. Adding to the island's mysterious allure are accounts of strange disappearances and eerie encounters. The ghost ship is often blamed for unexplained phenomena, such as sudden storms or fog banks that lead ships astray. Some locals even whisper of hearing old pirate shanties echoing over the waves when the ghost ship is near. Despite numerous attempts to uncover the truth behind these ghostly sightings, no concrete evidence has ever been found. Modern technology, like radar and sonar, occasionally picks up unexplainable signals, but these fleeting contacts leave more questions than answers. Skeptics argue that these are just tricks of nature or errors in equipment. Yet those who have experienced these phenomena insist there is something supernatural at play. Topsail Island continues to attract those fascinated by pirate lore and supernatural mysteries. Whether drawn by the thrill of a ghost story or the lure of undiscovered pirate treasure, visitors and locals alike are captivated by the tales of the ghost ship. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.